Now let us see how to specify a two-dimensional world coordinate reference frame in OpenGL. So in this particular topic, we'll be studying about how to specify a two-dimensional world coordinate. So you know what is world coordinate. So if you have an object, you are going to specify initially the world coordinates for the object, and then later you'll be representing the world coordinate in terms of screen coordinates. Is it to display it on the screen? So we have a special function in our OpenGL that is called GLU Ortho 2D. It's a command we can use to set up any 2D Cartesian reference frame. So using this command GLU Ortho 2D, we can set up the reference frame in your screen. Okay. So since the GLU Ortho 2D function specifies an orthogonal projection, we need also to be sure that the coordinate values are placed in OpenGL projection matrix. So we have actually, there are two kinds of projections, orthogonal projection and perspective projection. So now we have we are going to study about GLU ortho 2D, that means orthogonal projection. But this orthogonal projection has to be represented using the matrix. Okay, so all the values or the object, when you are saying an object, you are going to represent it with certain vertices. So these vertices, everything in the background, it will be in the matrix format. Okay, you'll be having certain locations, all the information, what color it has to be, the location, the color information. So all these things, it has to be represented with certain matrix format in the background. So all this will be in the projection matrix format. So the orthogonal projection we have initially. So in addition, we could assign the identity matrix as an projection matrix before defining the world coordinate range. So here actually what it means is, here whenever the transformation happens, the camera coordinates or the world coordinates will be transformed to screen coordinates. So projection matrix will be in the background. Is it? Now, suppose you want to represent an object, then what happens in the background is the camera coordinates will be it will be in the form of matrix format. The camera coordinates will be multiplied with the screen coordinates. Okay, again screen coordinates will be in the matrix format. So you are going to multiply two matrices, okay, and then you get an screen coordinates, or the actual object coordinates that has to be represented on the screen. Okay, these, that again it will be a matrix, but we cannot have initially, see, when you are going to multiply two matrices, the resultant matrix has to be placed somewhere. So you cannot place it in on the empty matrix. So what we are going to do here is, we are going to initialize that in empty matrix with identity matrix. So it is usually set as an identity matrix. The identity matrix means, you know, all the diagonal elements will be ones and rest of the values will be zeros. The diagonal matrix values will be ones and the rest of the values will be zeros. So we are going to set, instead of setting an empty matrix, we are going to set a identity matrix. So you are going to multiply the object matrix into that identity matrix, and the resultant matrix will be displayed in the actual window. So this would ensure that coordinate values were not accumulated with any values we may have previously set for the projection matrix. So projection matrix will have certain values, that means when the display is going to be continuous. Okay, so many objects will be displayed on the screen. Okay, different objects. So this matrix also has to be changed every time. Okay, so these object values should be cleared from the projection matrix. So what we are going to do to clear it, uh, in the sense, we as you know, the color screen color will be all cleared initially. So same way here, projection matrix will be set to identity matrix or else some other values will be accumulated there. So that's why we are going to set the identity matrix. Thus, for our initial two-dimensional examples, we define the coordinate frame for screen display window with the following statements. So every way, initial there will be certain uh, settings that has to be done, or this particular functions, matrix mode, load identity, or GL auto 2D will be called within init function. As you know, earlier we had certain examples there to show how an line is being drawn. So when that example also you had void init function where you have written matrix mode and GL auto 2D. Is it? So here the first kind, first statement, that is GL matrix mode project GL underscore projection. So that is needed to transform any camera coordinates to the screen coordinates, or the projection matrix has to be set in the background. That's why we have a GL matrix mode GL underscore projection statement. Okay, so this is a parameter you're having, GL underscore projection. And next, as soon as you're going to have this matrix mode, uh, along with the matrix mode, you're going to write GL load identity. So that means loading the particular identity matrix to the particular projection, empty projection matrix. Okay, so that is also set. So suppose I say here, I'll give an example here. See, you are having the camera coordinates. Okay, that will be in a matrix format. Again, you are going to multiply it with certain screen coordinates. Okay, and you have the resultant matrix. Okay, certain resultant matrix you will be having. Okay, when you multiply camera coordinates with screen coordinates, and this resultant matrix also has to be multiplied with identity matrix. So before getting a resultant matrix, what will be there in the projection matrix? That the projection matrix will have an identity matrix. Okay, so here you are going to load the identity matrix now. Identity matrix. So next you have GLO ortho 2D, x minimum, x maximum, y minimum, and y maximum. Okay, so that means orthogonal 2D viewing volume you are going to create with uh, uh, certain boundary line. Okay, uh, so that means you're going to have, for the screen we'll be having x minimum value, and also that is boundary you are setting. Okay, 2D boundary, it is y minimum. Suppose if you have a 3D boundary, then we'll be having another value, that is z z z minimum and z max also. But we are going to consider here ortho 2D. That means this is enough. Okay, so x maximum and y maximum. So this, inside this you are going to display any object, maybe a triangle or a square or a sphere. So anything it may be within the orthogonal 2D this boundary, you are going to display the objects on the screen. So that's why we have x minimum, y maximum, x max, y minimum, y max position. So this is actually you can say it's a screen. Okay, PC screen you have, and inside the screen again you have x minimum, y minimum, and x maximum, y maximum boundary line. The display window will be referenced by coordinates x minimum, y minimum at the lower left corner, and by the coordinates x max and y max at the upper right corner as shown in the figure. So this is the first video screen display you have, or the monitor you can say. It's display window you have. Okay, and within that window you have one more window that is created by the user. Okay, with certain x minimum value, x max value, y minimum, that means horizontally you have x minimum and x maximum values. Okay, so that means from the outer window, okay, you have one more inner window, right? So between that you have got certain length. So what is the length? That is from this particular window to this inner window. So that's given by x minimum, and from that means from left you can say. Then from right how much it should be, that is given by x max, and from bottom how much from how many lines it has to be displayed. Okay, the window boundary, it has to be in y minimum, it has to be y minimum, and from upper, that is upper portion, it is counted with y max. So this, when you're giving the four different values, you're going to set the orthogonal 2D in the video screen. So we get then the designate one or more graphics primitive for display using the coordinate reference specified in the GLU Ortho 2D statement. That means graphics primitives in the sense it can be lines, points, or the polygons. Okay, so anything it may be. So these can be displayed only if you specify the GLU Ortho 2D statement initially. So if the coordinate extents of a primitive are within the coordinate range of the display window, all the primitive will be displayed. Otherwise, only those parts of the primitive within the display window coordinates limits will be shown. So that means here, if you are having a triangle, suppose if you want to draw a triangle, and if the triangle is represented, some portion of the triangle is represented outside the boundary, that is ortho 2D, orthogonal 2D boundary you have, no. So that if it is outside, then the little portion of the triangle will be clipped off. Okay, sometimes it happens. You cannot display the complete object within the window. So sphere, when you say, sometimes if it is near to the boundary, the half portion of the sphere will be displayed and rest will be clipped off. Okay, some if the primitive lies within the boundary, then it will be displayed completely. Okay, so that is the meaning here. If the coordinate extents of a primitive are within the coordinate range of the display window, all the primitives will be displayed, or else it will be clipped off. Okay, clipping in the sense this portion will be gone. So like this. Line attribute functions in OpenGL. A line segment can be represented with the line color, line width, and line style. Okay, so you may have the attributes for the line, that is straight line segment. It can have any color, or you can represent any line with different width and also different style. Okay, so when you are saying the style can be dashed or dotted line. Okay, and here the line width is set in the OpenGL with the function syntax GL line width and with parameter width. Okay, so here the width, parameter width takes the integer value, sorry, floating point value, and suppose the floating point value is you say 1.5, you may round it to 2. Okay, the non-negative integer, nearest non-negative integer, it may be rounded to the nearest non-negative integer. So the default value for the width will be 1.0. Okay, it's the standard value, standard width of width, and remember that it will be represented always in floating point value. And some implementations of line width function might support only a limited number of widths. So you can give 1.0, 1.5, 2, 2.0 like this. Okay, so different 2.0, 2.5 like this you can give, but some might not support the widths other than 1.0. So default value is 1.0. So OpenGL line attribute functions, under that we have one more OpenGL line style function. Okay, so by default a line segment is displayed as a solid line. If you don't specify any line, a line can be represented with this solid line. Solid line means this one. Okay, this is a solid line. But we can also display dashed lines or dotted lines, or a line with combination of dashes and also dots. We can vary the length of the dashes and spacings between the dashes or dots. We also can set current display style for lines with OpenGL function. GL line stipple repeat and within the bracket the function has got repeat factor and the pattern. Repeat, that is repeat factor comma pattern you may be writing. So what do you mean by pattern now? So pattern can be a parameter. Pattern is used to reference a 16-bit integer that describes how the line should be displayed. Remember that this pattern is value, it is a 16-bit integer value it may be. So here, if suppose I say here if you are saying a 16-bit, yeah, so here, yeah, 0 that is f you have value. Okay, so f, all the values I said you it is 16-bit. That means how many bits it may represent? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. So that means you are going to represent, see, all ones if you are having, it represents a dash is being represented for ones. Okay, every time. And suppose I change the last bit to 0, think that if I change the last bit is to 0, suppose I change the last bit to 0, then automatically the corresponding line which I have drawn will be the lower line. Okay, so this much portion will be displayed corresponding to the ones. And see, when you are writing everything, the line will be displayed for each of the ones. If you are not going to write ones, that means if you are writing 0, so bit representation will be only zeros and ones. Okay, so then there won't be any line there. So suppose I say here 1100 pattern you have given, that means you may have line and then 00, there will be a blank space, and again 1100, repeat factor 1 if you are given 00, then again a line and 00, there won't be any lines. So that means 0, see, 1 bit in the pattern denotes on pixel position and 0 bit denotes off pixel position. The pattern is applied to the pixels along the line path starting with low order bits in the pattern. The default pattern is FFFF. Each bit position has value 1, which produces a solid line. So repeat factor, you had one more parameter called repeat factor. There were two parameters within GL line stipple. One was repeat factor and one more was pattern. So what is repeat factor now? The integer parameter repeat factor specifies how many times each bit in the pattern will be repeated before the next bit in the pattern is applied. The default repeat value is 1. Okay, that means here 1100 if you are saying, okay, how many times this pattern is repeated. Okay, the same thing, see, after this bit, that means if it is displaying this one, again it has to display then again blank you will be getting. Okay, again blank, then a solid line, then a blank, and then a solid line. So like this pattern you may be getting for the pattern 1 1 0 0, the repeat factor 1. So this is nothing but the integer parameter repeat factor specifies how many times each bit in the pattern is to be repeated before the next bit in the pattern is applied. For example, for line style, suppose the parameter pattern is assigned with hexadecimal representation 00FF, then the repeat factor is 1. How the things will display is, so whenever you actually represent these kinds of pattern in the display screen, remember that suppose if you are representing the pattern as 00FF, okay, repeat factor is 1, you have pattern 00FF. This would display the dash lines with 8 pixels in each dash and 8 pixel positions that are off between the two dashes. As you know, 00 means off, FF means on. F means it is actually the 4 bits of ones. 4 bits you have, is it? And again one more F you have. That means also again ones. And you have zeros. So 0 0, and here also again 0 0 0. So lower order bits, that means this side, okay, you have so total of 16 bits, 8 bits this side, 8 bits zeros you have. Okay, so here this will display a line like this first, then a gap, and again a line this manner. So since the low order bits are applied first, the line begins with an 8 pixel dash starting at the first point. So that means this first, what it will, what values will be displayed initially? All the ones, starting all the ones are displayed. That means all ones represent a line like this, solid line like this. Then you have zeros, that means you are off. Then again on, that means again a solid line. Okay, so on means all ones, again off, that means zeros, again on, again off. So like this it will go on repeating. Again one more time it may repeat like this. So this dash is followed by 8 pixel space and then another 8 pixel dash and so forth until the second end point position is reached. So 8 pixel space, it will be on, again starting, it will start with on, then off, then on, then off. So this is the meaning here. Activating lines style. So here before any line segment is displayed, the current line style pattern, we must activate the line style feature on the OpenGL. So simply if you are writing GL line stipple repeat factor comma pattern, it won't be activated. Okay, to activate that you have to enable a function called GL enable GL underscore line underscore stipple. Suppose if you forget this, okay, if you forget to enable GL underscore line underscore stipple, what happens? So let us see. If we forget to include this enable function, solid lines are displayed. Okay, that is the default pattern FFFF is used to display the line segments. That means suppose if you are not writing GL enable GL underscore line underscore stipple, okay, you will get the solid line that will be a complete solid line. Okay, all 16 bits will be once, all 16 bits will be once, that means all 16 bits are on, you get a complete dash line. At any time we can turn off the line pattern feature with GL disable. So similarly, if you have enable, there will be a GL disable function also to disable the line step. So this replaces the current line style pattern with the default pattern solid lines. Curve attributes. So you know how to draw a line. So let us see how to draw a curve. Curve means in this manner you may have. Straight line means straight line. Okay, but we are talking about a curve here. So let us concentrate how to draw a curve. Parameters for the curve attributes are same as that of a straight line segments. We can display curves with varying colors, widths, dot dash patterns, and available pen or brush options are also there. Methods for adapting curve drawing algorithms to accommodate attribute selections are similar to those of line drawing. Raster curves of various widths can be displayed using the method of horizontal or vertical pixel spans. So whenever you say a curve, how it will be displayed actually on the screen. Okay, so whenever you think you're going to magnify a particular screen now, and you have drew a curve. So whenever you see a curve, it won't be, the pixels won't be lying in a very horizontal manner or a very vertical manner. Okay, suppose if you have a straight line, then all the pixels will be arranged in all blocks. It will be arranged in a horizontal manner or in the vertical manner. Okay, there will be certain arrangement, but when you draw a curve, there won't be certain arrangement there. A pixel may be going in this manner. Okay, so like this it may continue. So I say here, if you're drawing this kind, then it may have a positions like this. Okay, so that means for a reference point here, in the x-axis, if I take a reference point, and y-axis, there is a slope. Is it? There is kind of slope occurred when you are drawing the curve. So if the magnitude of the curve slope, so we represent the curve slope with magnitude m, this representation for the curve slope. So suppose m is less than or equal to 1.0, we plot vertical spans, and when the slope magnitude is m greater than 1.0, we plot the horizontal spans. So whenever you draw a curve, okay, whenever you're trying, you say that you try to magnify a curve, okay, you may observe that certain pixels may be arranged in this manner, and means in a horizontal manner. Certain pixels may be arranged in a vertical manner. So I say here, this is now 2 pixels are in horizontal manner, and other, if I take in this direction, the 2 are in vertical direction. Is it? So all depends on the slope of the curve. So m represents, if m is less than 1.0, we are plotting vertical spans. Okay, we are going to plot m is, when m is less than 1.0, we are plot less than or equal to 1.0, we are plotting vertical spans. That means pixels are drawn vertically. So this way, when you are going to change the slope of the curve, you can draw a complete curve. Okay, any curve can be drawn using these two cases, taking these two cases. Okay, let us see this with an example in the next program. Okay, in the next class.